say, okay, and it's responsible for safety. A lot of this was created because of COVID. And I also had them listed as essential workers. Initially, school security was not essential workers. They should have been released during that period of time.
Also, what about the new security system that you have? This was not just created, correct?
When I came here, the camera system was up, but the way it was designed, it only catered to this school, this school, this school. They all had their own little thing going on. They had a space, they had a street, and they would sit there and then, okay, let me pull this school up now. Look, this school up, look. I can basically look at X amount of schools now at once.
That's good to know, because I know there was an incident that had happened where a security officer fell and busted their head.
Yes,
Was that able to detect that?
we saw that, yes.
Okay, because I know they called for help and no one was at the dispatch him to answer that. But standby should have had to work from the individual to the incident.
The one I'm thinking about, no. That's not.
Okay, I'll talk to you about that one after I'm off with that. The other question that I have. What is the average salary that a security that's making $33? Is it $33 an hour?
I don't know.
You mean with overtime or
Yeah, the
regular
average
salary?
overtime salary that they're earning. Yeah.
I
Let's look into that.
I did look up, just to let you all know, I looked up the posting and it was for 40 hours. The base rate, basically 40 hours is $34,762 for school security.
So to have for school security, I'm gonna speak up for them with that. These are the lowest paid people in the city.
I agree.
And when these individuals step up and they're working nonstop, I decided I don't want to work. He works. We pull up the sheet, he has a certain amount of money, and I have to make that because he worked. Initially, there was always some type of problem with overtime was not being distributed equally. There is so much overtime right now, they are refusing to work. So anybody right now who isn't in a certain level, that's their choice. I can't give it away.
Are you doing it by seniority? You still doing seniority?
It's by seniority, but it's so much right now that I want seniority down to I just hired people. I hired them on a Monday. They were working overtime that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And let me ask you this quick question, because I'm getting a lot of calls. Not sheets, a lot of calls in regards to you have someone that's probably cleaning the facilities and then working security at the same time. Is that possible?
I can't answer that.
Okay, thank you.
I came with an answer about what you guys are talking about.
No problem. Thank you so very much. Madam Chair, thank you so very much.
Any other questions?
You'll see.
Keep in mind, it's 9:15. I want you all to get your questions out, but let's be mindful of the time.
We're talking about the overtime, and I hear what you're saying. And I'm not disagreeing with you because it's happening clear across our city. I can tell you that I have somebody very dear and close to me who's working corrections. And these individuals are back to back. I have residents that are working back to back. So you can't give it away. So unfortunately, if you're making that 100,000 and I'm making that 50,000, that's really my decision and your decision to say, this is what, you know what I mean? So I hear you, because I'm hearing it, from residents that, like I said, are CEOs, and they're never home. And the ranks are being pulled in, everybody's being pulled in because everybody has a shortage. So it's difficult to gauge what folks are making because we're in a, I'm gonna call it a swirl of the world that we're doing right now with this COVID, with all this fear that's happening. And so, you know, that we have to.
So, again, speak for these officers.
Mhm.
And I've had one attack that we standing. I had the opportunity to go to college, and I have a degree. So, I'll put it like this, so why can't a teacher, if I say, oh, that teacher made $100,000. Oh, school security made $100,000? Why is it wrong?
It's not really.
That's terrible.
It's not.
That's
And-
terrible. That because my title is security officer, and this person's title is something else. So we're not gonna look at them because they're supposed to get $100,000.
And I
But
appreciate.
they're the ones that are standing there,
Mhm.
that when that active person comes in, more than likely, they're going to be killed.
They're the first person in the door.
But they're not supposed to make any money.
I didn't say that.
No, no, no,
I definitely, I think that for the work that's being done, I personally can't question. If you're in there, and you're not shying away from taking away from, not taking away from your family, what time with your families? And I'm seeing it in my neighborhood personally. I'm seeing families that aren't coming home because of the shortage. Someone has to take up the shortage to keep everyone safe. I wanted to start by saying, first of all, each and every one of you has presented, like all of our team, I'm wowed by the communication that is had at this table, that each of you are connecting, and working through these hard times, through the kinks, to keep everybody safe. We have to keep that in mind. It's a team coming together. And I appreciate that it's a close-knit team, that not everything has to be out there. So it's teamwork and it's safety for all the schools. And the amount of cameras, I truly, it blows me away. You know, some of us will say, I don't want you peeking into my window. I can tell you that, in Rhode Island, it's used widely. In Providence, I can talk about Providence and say widely throughout the city. I think the fear is we don't want it just condensed in one neighborhood. If we're gonna put cameras, it has to go broadly out to everyone. And I know, you know, that's important. But again, I thank you all for how you guys are handling this and coming out today. And I'm taking away a lot of information that we didn't know, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to, in real time, move forward and seeing what's happening at the, you know, with the cameras and things like that. And my final comment is, perhaps the parents need to know school grounds at 6 o'clock, the Parks and Recs Department shuts down all the parks and we close things down. Perhaps through the board that they can send them, I said, no, so kids aren't on the field alone. So thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to ask, who's responsible for the recruitment events? And my second part of that question would be, how often are we posting the jobs? Because I just did a search for it. We get the job postings for city people, every alder does, and city staffer does, or folks in their positions. And I'm going back from November 1st of this year, all the way back to March 31st, 2017. And I've only seen the job posted for security 5 times. November 1st of this year, June 14th of this year, March 8th of this year, nothing in 2020, one time in 2019, one time in 2017, nothing in 2018. So what are we doing to recruit and to get, our numbers up for security officers? Because it hasn't been a lot of recruitment. Nothing happened in 2018. What happened there?
I put in requests and hire. I go through procedures what I'm supposed to do.
The reason why I ask, and I'll make a put you in the hot seat, but hearing what the gentleman spoke to us about, or was it maybe the first item that we spoke about? There's now, the second gentleman, there's designated behavior recruiting folks, that's all they do, they focus on. Can in your team have like a designated individual to hire?
I need everyone I have, and I need to do school.
Mhm.
I don't have that luxury. I think they'll say that I have this individual recruitment. I was talking to Chief Bumpton, and I was asking him, I was saying, by him that when the police department does the recruitment, and the individuals don't make it, because it's a certain thing that they can't, because of the police. They maybe we can now look at that list and take those individuals and bring them to school security. And because they vetted them up to a certain point, and you can tell me that, okay, yeah, we don't take them because of this.
Yep.
And give them the option to apply or just move this way.
So just for my final piece, that's through you, Madam Chair, maybe having a portion within different works and also try to do some sort of improvement.
I'm gonna go,
And I do love that.
thank you. So Alder King.
Sorry. I think my biggest takeaway, good question. My biggest takeaway here for the day about his department, it's the Board of Ed. The Board of Ed has an HR department. They have a recruitment. It's not, I mean, it is your responsibility, but not really. They understand this is a priority and clearly, pretty well funded. This should be something that the HR department, and all those folks, they need to actively, that's really on them to do it because there's clearly a budget for it.
Yeah.
So I'll take that off of you, put that with the Board of Ed. And actually, I do have a question that I guess I'll save it for later.
I'm gonna piggyback off of Alder Casco and Alder King. And I just wanna I shared my posts. When I saw, especially school security, sometimes I mess up. I don't share the city of New Haven posts. But I do try to send the link. I put it on my personal Facebook page, not even my Alder page most of the time. Or if I have friends, I inbox them on Facebook. So you can also repost these job openings, period. As an individual, I've had someone inbox me and say, "What's up with the city? Did you look at the website? School security's up there." So, like you said, it's about recruitment, but just put the word out there and blast it out if you ever see it coming up again. I just blast the links to people most of the time.
I do say.
And Alder King, you still want to ask your question or you want me to go to?
Oh, no,
What do I do this first?
It's for the chair, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, Madam Chair, it sounds like the previous gentleman, through you, we need a communication through the Board of Education, because this is a great program, and so there's a disconnect there. They're working as a team, now we have to have Board of Ed get on board, be at the table, and know what they need to do. And as many times as they come to the table for requests, we know I'm gonna request for them. We need to know what in God's name is going on you have teams trying to protect the children in New Haven. They need to assist. So through you, Madam Chair, we need to know what the previous gentleman and what the gentleman are going through, because it needs to be handled, it needs to be handled sooner or later. We don't want an active shooter. So through you, we really request that. Thank you.
One final question for you, Madam Chair. Through you, I want to ask, if we can bring the board at the table to see how we can manage that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them on the left.
Okay.
Where are they not here? I don't understand.
Yes.
Why did I do it tonight? To explain to us that why have they failed to recruit the folks they need to do the job? And I asked that to the chair, and I didn't know that.
I have one last question, Madam Chair. Don't, excuse me, really quickly. Doesn't the Board of Ed have a recruiter?
That's what we do.
Okay, I'm sorry, okay, 'cause yeah, and.
Not on him,
No, I'm not putting overtime on you, I'm not putting anything on you. We have to ask the questions of the right people, because it sounds like. How many entities are being, and I don't, you don't have to answer, if you don't, but I'm gonna throw it out there, how many entities are being paid out of your money? It sounds like,
Basically, after having our committee, all their answers was sitting there, we were saying, you're having events in these schools, you have kids in these schools. Are you guys, why is there a security officer?
Yeah.
I said, that's right. Right, he's like, well, but it made sense, but it's kids or parents in a school that you're responsible for. So as a result, pay or don't pay, I could send them, so I can't argue. It's, if the school's open, I have to put somebody there to make sure, because kids wander all over the school.
absolutely. So they're paying extra security when community or media.
If there's something going on in the school,
Okay,
well, I wouldn't ask them.
Okay.
Just put somebody.
thank you for that.
Right.
Really
Oh, no, Chair. I have to say this. Again, we don't want that to change.
No,
So, I just wanna, just for the record,
no,
I realize this seems like a lot of follow-up work that's about to happen. What I don't want to happen is
but we can't.
that impact and the work that they're doing is being inhibited by that. So, if we can just kind of talk offline about how we want to
Absolutely.
approach
Yeah.
this.
No, you guys are doing a fabulous job. We don't want things to change.
I'm right,
But yes,
okay, so, I don't know if you can tell me this, because you guys can tell us a lot of things earlier. I need to deputize into this community. I can do dispatch, you got, at first, there was a little hesitancy, and then it all came out.
But it's really not, it's not directed here, it's really directed outside.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
we want you to know, that's why we're here, we want you to know really
Yes.
what's going on, because a lot of this is really not communicated,
Properly.
but especially outside.
Exactly.
Again, because it's just,
So, out of your, I don't know if you can answer this about the camera thing, the 4,900 cameras you have. How many are active? Are most of them active? Like, let's just,
I'm gonna tell you right now,
they are.
if I pull up the school cameras,
Fiber network. That's
the
what I'm
school
talking about.
cameras are really, really good. The city cameras,
No, going.
could be a lot better.
Mhm.
The court cameras are all good,
Okay.
and believe me when I tell you, because I would never argue a point.
Mhm.
But there's no cameras that we're not looking at people. We're not like spying, that's not the way it is. But
Not
I
right
would-
now, and I respect that,
Yeah.
appreciate it, but, if those cameras are all functional, operational, and pointing in the right direction in these schools, I'm down. How often do you check the cameras as far as the position and what it sees in
We're
our
checking-
structures?
We're checking all the time, they go down, this is electronic, they have a lifespan. So what happens is the cameras start to go bad and they do the wrong little thing.
Okay,
And then that again becomes like a financing thing, because now it's a replacement.
okay.
So we're not putting a new camera, so now you have to look at the system, like they'll say, well, that's a new camera, so you can't have that. No, we're replacing
Okay. I get you.
because it's broken. So again, they're up and down, but for the most part, they're up.
I do volunteer to be deputized at some point when your numbers get low with your SROs and your security guards. I'm just saying, I'm there for it, or even a dispatch piece, I'll volunteer for the city. I just want to put that out there. Do we have any other
Can I-
final questions?
One more question.
Yes,
How many SROs we have in the schools?
there's 5, right?
Just only 5?
Just 5.
So we need more SROs.
That's a debate.
As of right now.
I'm just being honest.
The 5 that we have, and one, and
We
if anything comes in,
giving up the numbers, so don't.
Oh, no, this,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
this is my process and my
if
work.
anything comes in middle school, it's pretty much on the top of the response.
So thank you guys too for your.
This is so sexual.
It's so clear, it's so clear. Look at that beautiful picture. You guys see that?
So whenever you guys want a tour, and I suggest, the newest school is Obama.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Go check out Obama and I'll bring you into that video room, because that's exactly. And you can see how clear it is. Mayo, very, very clear. So that's like from kindergarten.
Yeah.
So they're in there, camera system is very, very good. Since I've been here, a lot of stuff has been solved. A camera, you're not using it, you usually don't catch them actively doing it. But when you look at time spans and you start backing it up and everything, you'll see when it's gonna happen. So, but camera being there, human nature, you can't watch it long enough.
Mhm.
Madam Chair. Final comment from me. So I would like to ask a question. Why there hasn't been any recruitment since August 2015 till July 2017?
We're gonna call the Board of Education in for that.
Right, so to review, I want to ask for 2 years worth of non-recruitment of security officers and only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 less. And then 3 years, we would do that for the board.
Thank you, Alder Prescott.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you, gentlemen, for the information provided us and the work that you're doing, because just like my colleague is, through the chair, the implementation of again, the control group, different schools and having the previous, AT, teaching, and bringing your expertise to the small, fairly repeating of the children, so thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
So thank you for your support. All the work you did from the beginning. She can tell you about the secret room, but she can't tell you where it is. She's been to the back cave. And she was, I think.
Raheem, you and I, we'll take a boat ride.
Nice spot to rent on.
So we thank you very much.
We thank you.
And attending and giving us all the great information and inviting us for the tour. And we're gonna follow up with the other side of this equation to see what we will do. Yeah.
So right now, we have 7 in the process. Wait, like, what happened with that? So that's 7, but that's.
How many do you need? 20, 30. Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
think you might need to come visit me in the office if I would.
Madam Chair, that's actually for security officer supervisor.
Right, that's what that is.
So now the supervisor bill get that. Yeah, they just, their last one is for supervisor. They just gave a test. Only got 7 out of that test. And we write that they post for supervisor, they had this test again. I'm gonna hire 6. It's 6 that left. So then that's gonna be, for the new 7 that come. Are strong because 7 people are gonna be supervisors. 6 people.
So only 7 passed the test.
Supposedly, yes. It's not.
Maybe that, yeah, maybe having like tutorials where, you know, the training.
Trust me,
test
Jen,
prep.
it's- they're asking you basic stuff about.
Right.
Keep running through.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
You gotta go back.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
thank you all for coming.
Can you give me a call tomorrow?
Yes, yes.
Are there any members of the public that wish to speak or comment on this part of our workshop? Are there any members of the public that wish to speak or comment on this portion of our workshop? Okay, one more time, last time. Are there any members of the public that wish to comment or speak or ask any questions on this part of our workshop? Seeing none,
Second.
we got closed public portion.
Point of order, let's retract the first motion and. Second.
Okay,
Entertaining motion to close the public portion of the
Because we were seconding that.
okay. Any opposed? No opposed, okay, no abstentions. Okay, I move, well, we already moved, the public portion is now closed.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? None opposed? No abstentions?
Yes, no.
Nothing, none of that? Exactly, this meeting is adjourned.